When my 19-year-old nephew vanished in Overland Park, I thought it was just teenage rebellion. But then I stumbled upon his hidden bank transactions and late-night meetings with my ex-brother-in-law shady business partners. What started as a search turned into uncovering a double life so twisted it pulled our entire family into danger. 7:42 p.m. Overland Park, Kansas. I was washing the dinner plates when my sister Lisa's call came through. Her voice was trembling. "Brandon, it's Ethan. He hasn't come home since last night." Ethan. My 19-year-old nephew. The kid who used to spend summers fishing with me at Shawnee Mission Park. He knew every Kansas City Chiefs stat by heart. I grabbed my coat. "Did you call his friends?" "Yes, nobody's seen him. Brandon, something's wrong." By 8:15, I was at Lisa's house on West 135th Street. She stood in the doorway, pale, twisting her wedding ring. Inside, the living room smelled of burnt coffee. Ethan's phone lay on the counter, cracked screen. No messages since yesterday. His wallet was missing, but his laptop sat open on the desk. I tried to keep my voice steady. "Any fights lately?" Lisa shook her head. "Not with me, but with Tom." Tom was her ex-husband Ethan's father. A man who wore $1,200 suits but somehow owed Lisa 3 years of child support. I hadn't spoken to him in months, not since I found out he'd been borrowing money from our mother's retirement account. At 9:02, I checked Ethan's browser history. A few job searches, some music videos, and then something odd, multiple visits to a bank's online portal at a bank in Omaha. Ethan didn't have an account there. I looked at Lisa. "Do you know anything about this?" She frowned. "Omaha? No." My gut told me this wasn't a simple disappearance. This was layered and messy. At 9:47, I got the first real lead. A text came to my phone from an unknown number. "If you want to find Ethan, stop asking questions." The timestamp showed it was sent 2 minutes after I opened his laptop. The hairs on my arm stood up. Someone was watching me. And then, just before midnight, I found something else, a printed bank statement in Ethan's desk drawer. It showed deposits totaling $15,000 over the last 3 months. The sender's name? Thomas D. Keating. Ethan's father, 8:15 a.m. the next morning. Sleep had been impossible. I sat in my truck outside a Starbucks on Metcalf Avenue staring at the bank statement. $15,000 from Tom. Why would Ethan's deadbeat father suddenly start paying him and not Lisa? Lisa called again. "Any news?" she asked. "Not yet," I said. "But Lisa, did you know Tom's been giving Ethan money?" There was a pause so long I thought she'd hung up. "No. Are you sure?" "I've got the statements right here." Her voice cracked. "Brandon, don't talk to Tom without me, please." But I didn't listen. 9:02 I pulled into Tom's office building near College Boulevard. He came down to the lobby wearing his usual smug grin, Rolex glinting in the sunlight. "Brandon," he said, "to what do I owe this early visit?" I didn't waste time. "Where's Ethan?" Tom laughed softly, shaking his head. "Still blaming me for everything, huh? You've always had it out for me." I slapped the bank statement on the glass coffee table between us. "You gave him 15 grand. Why?" Tom's smile faded. He leaned back, hands behind his head. "Ethan was helping me with something. That's all you need to know." "What kind of something?" "Business." "Legal business?" I pushed. That's when his eyes hardened. "You should go home, Brandon, for your own sake." 10:30 a.m. I called Ethan's best friend Tyler. At first, he claimed not to know anything. But when I mentioned the Omaha bank, he sighed. "Okay, Ethan's been going up there every couple of weeks. He said it was for some side hustle with his dad. He wouldn't tell me details, but he came back with envelopes of cash." Cash. Omaha. Tom's business. This was no side hustle. That evening, I drove to Lisa's. Her hands were shaking as she handed me Ethan's backpack, which she found stuffed under his bed. Inside, I found a crumpled receipt dated 2 days ago for a storage unit in Lenexa. "Do you think?" Lisa started, but I was already grabbing my keys. 7:12 p.m. at the storage facility was almost empty, echoing with the hum of overhead lights. I used the receipt to get into Unit 214. The smell hit me first, faint, chemical. Stacks of boxes lined the walls. Inside one, I found dozens of blank driver's licenses. Another held rolls of counterfeit cash pens, the kind banks use. And in the corner, taped to a metal chair, was a note in Ethan's handwriting. "If you're reading this, I'm sorry. Don't trust Tom." Then with the slam of the storage unit door behind me, 7:15 p.m. storage unit, Lenexa. The door slammed, and my heart jumped. I spun around. A shadow moved in the dim light. "Brandon?" a familiar voice whispered. It was Tyler. His face was pale, sweat dripping from his forehead. I tried to follow him, but I got scared. I didn't know he'd do this stuff. I nodded, keeping my voice low. "Where's Ethan?" Tyler pointed to a small metal locker in the corner. I knelt, unlocking it with the key taped under a box. Inside, Ethan was curled up, pale, eyes wide. "Brandon?" he whispered. I didn't mean to, I just wanted to help Dad. Help him with what? I demanded. My hand shook. This isn't a game, Ethan. These are fake ID. Counterfeit money. People could go to jail. He looked down. I didn't know. I thought it was just boring paperwork. Tyler coughed nervously. Brandon, you need to see this. He pulled a folder from under the chair. The folder was full of photographs of Ethan with men in suits, shaking hands, signing documents, bags of cash in the background. This isn't just Dad's business, I muttered, eyes widening. He's laundering money, and he's using Ethan. Ethan's voice cracked. I didn't know, I swear I didn't know it was real. I grabbed my phone and called Lisa. Pack a bag. Ethan and I are coming home, and we're taking this evidence. Before I could hang up, Tyler's phone buzzed. A message. Stop digging, or your nephew pays. Ethan's hand trembled as he read it aloud. They know we found out. I clenched my fists. My stomach churned with a mix of fear and rage. My nephew was being used as bait in something far bigger than any of us imagined. Just then, a sound from outside the storage unit, a car engine revving. I peeked through the small window. 2 black SUVs parked by the entrance. Men in dark suits got out, moving fast. Brandon, what do we do? Ethan whispered. I swallowed hard, feeling the cold edge of panic. We fight, but first, I glanced at the folder, at the cash, at the fake ID. We make sure no one disappears again. The SUVs were moving closer. And then, in the distance, I saw him. Palm, smirking, like he always knew the next move. 7:48 p.m. Storage unit, Lennoxer. Tom stepped out of the shadows, his tailored jacket catching the flickering light. He held a phone in one hand, speaking in hushed tones. But I could hear enough. They found the kid. Bring the car around. No mistakes this time. My chest tightened. This wasn't just about money anymore. It was about control. About fear. And they were ready to use Ethan as leverage. I stepped forward. Tom, stop. This has gone too far. He glanced at me, smiling. Brandon, you don't understand. Ethan chose this. Ethan. I snapped. He's 19. He's your son. You manipulated him into helping you launder money across state lines. And now you're threatening him. Ethan flinched at the words. I didn't mean. I just wanted to make things better. Tom shook his head. Brandon, this is bigger than family loyalty. Bigger than you. You can't stop what's already in motion. And that's when the twist hit me like a punch to the gut. I noticed the name on one of the envelopes Tyler had found earlier, Lena Keating. Tom's second wife. My sister-in-law. She was standing behind Tom, arms crossed, smirking. Her perfect blonde hair, expensive pearls, and a look I'd never seen before. Cold. Calculating. Ethan isn't the only one I've influenced, she said softly. You think this is just Tom's game? Think again. My mind raced. Lena? My family's supposed innocent relative. She had been visiting Ethan at his school, sending him letters, whispering in his ear all while helping Tom orchestrate this nightmare. I felt my knees weaken. 2 people I should have trusted, 2 people who had secretly been pulling the strings the entire time. Ethan's face went pale. Uncle, she told me to. For what? I demanded. To do what Dad said. She said it was for the family, he admitted, voice trembling. I didn't know it was illegal. I gritted my teeth, staring at Lena. Family? You call this family? She tilted her head, smiling faintly. Family is what you make it, Brandon, and sometimes you make sacrifices. The SUV door slammed outside. The men were approaching fast, faces hidden behind dark glasses. I grabbed Ethan. We're leaving, now. But before we could move, Lena whispered, almost casually, if you step out that door you'll wish you'd never found the storage unit. I froze. Tom's smirk widened. Time to teach the boy a lesson, Brandon. The locker door rattled, and I realized the danger wasn't just looming, it was inside, closing in on us. And then I noticed something I hadn't seen before. A small, hidden camera in the corner of the storage unit, blinking red. Every move, every word. They had been watching us the entire time. 8:03 p.m, storage unit, Lennoxer. I pulled Ethan behind a stack of boxes, heart hammering. Tyler was shaking beside me, whispering, "They're too many, we can't fight them." But I wasn't ready to give up. Not now. Not with my nephew's life on the line. I grabbed the folder of evidence and stuffed it into my jacket. Listen, I whispered. We can outsmart them. There's always a way. Ethan's eyes were wide. How they have guns, they have cars, they have everything. I shook my head. Sometimes you just need to be smarter, not stronger. The door to the storage unit rattled. Heavy footsteps. I could hear Tom's voice come, commanding. Ethan, step out. It's over. I clenched my fists. He's not going anywhere, I muttered. Then Tyler pointed at the ventilation duct near the ceiling. That's an exit, maybe. I looked up. It was small, narrow, barely enough for one person. But it was our only chance. Tyler, Ethan, follow me, I hissed. We scrambled to the duct. Ethan slipped in first, trembling, then Tyler. I followed, feeling the metal scrape my palms. The duct led to the back alley behind the facility. Outside, the night air hit me like a slap. The SUVs were gone, but the sense of danger didn't fade. 8:35 p.m. Lisa called. "Brandon, any news?" I swallowed hard. "We're safe for now, but you need to listen carefully. Pack his things. We're going somewhere secure." Lisa's voice was panicked. "Where? We don't have any money, you know, Tom." "Forget money," I said. "We have something stronger proof." I drove Ethan to a cheap motel on the outskirts of Overland Park, a place Tom and Lena wouldn't expect. While Ethan showered, I went over the document again. Bank statements, photographs, envelopes, all connecting Tom and Lena to a web of illegal activity. Then Ethan said something that made my blood run cold. "Uncle Lena," she said, "if I ever tell, they'll..." He couldn't finish. I clenched my jaw. "They'll what, Ethan?" She didn't say, but it sounded like I wouldn't come back. I rubbed my face. The betrayal cut deeper than fear. Lena had manipulated a teenager, my nephew, to protect her husband's crimes, and now they were willing to kill to keep it secret. 9:12 p.m. I turned on the motel TV, hoping to calm Ethan, when a news alert flashed. Overland Park police investigate missing teenager linked to federal money laundering case. I froze. Our location wasn't secret anymore. And then, my phone vibrated with a text from an unknown number. "You think you're clever, but Lena always wins." I looked at Ethan. His face was pale, but there was determination in his eyes. "We can't run forever," he said. "We have to fight, and we have to take them down." I nodded slowly, heart racing. But deep down, I knew exposing them would come at a cost. And the first person they'd strike would be the one they love most. 10:05 p.m, motel room, Overland Park. Ethan and I sat across from each other, the folder of evidence spread on the bed. I could see the fear in his eyes, but also a flicker of resolve. "Uncle, what if they come for us tonight?" he asked. I rubbed my temples. "Then we make sure they regret it." I called Lisa. "Pack your things, we're heading somewhere federal, FBI jurisdiction. We can't trust the local police, Tom has friends everywhere." Her voice wavered. "Are you sure?" "Positive." 10:50 p.m. we drove in silence. Ethan fiddled with the cash envelopes, his hands trembling. I asked, "Do you understand what you've been caught up in?" He nodded. "Yes, but I didn't want to hurt anyone. I just wanted Dad to be proud." I clenched my jaw. "Pride shouldn't cost you your life, Ethan." At the safe house, a contact from my insurance company, someone who owed me a favor, was waiting. A retired FBI agent, Jim Reynolds, with sharp eyes and a calm demeanor. "You're lucky," he said bluntly, "but luck only lasts so long. They'll come for him. You need hard evidence, and fast." I handed him the folder. He scanned the documents, nodding slowly. "This is enough to freeze Tom's accounts, and Lena's too, but they're smart, they'll disappear before the law can touch them." Suddenly, Ethan's phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "You think you're safe. We see everything. Lena is always 2 steps ahead." Ethan dropped the phone. "They know where we are." Jim's eyes narrowed. "Then it's time for a distraction." 11:23 p.m. I staged a false trail, sending messages that made it appear we were heading toward downtown Overland Park. While Tom and Lena's men chased shadows, Jim helped us sneak the real evidence to secure FBI contact in Kansas City. Hours passed like minutes. Finally, Jim looked at me. "They'll try one last move tonight. Be ready." Then Ethan whispered, voice trembling, "Uncle, I don't want to lose you too." I swallowed hard. "You won't. Not tonight." Just as we settled in, the motel room window rattled violently. Shadows moved outside, figures in black suits. I grabbed a baseball bat from the closet, ready to protect my nephew. And then the glass shattered. 11:57 p.m. Motel room, Overland Park. Chuds of glass sprayed across the floor as 2 masked figures lunged through the window. My heart pounded, adrenaline taking over. I swung the bat, catching one of them in the shoulder, sending him sprawling into the trash cans outside. Ethan screamed behind me. "Uncle, hurry." I grabbed him, pulling him to the back door. But then I froze. Lena was standing there, calm as ever, holding a pistol. Tom was right behind her, smirking. "So we meet at last," Lena said, voice cold. "You really thought you could outsmart me?" I stepped in front of Ethan. "It's over, Lena, Tom. It ends tonight." Lena laughed softly. "You don't understand. Family means loyalty, and loyalty is expensive." Tom raised his hand. "Brandon, think about your choices. Walk away now, or Ethan pays." Ethan looked at me, eyes wide. I saw the terror, but also the courage I had hoped for. "You won't touch him," I said, voice shaking but firm. "I promise." Lena's finger tightened on the trigger. At that moment, a loud bang echoed through the room. Jim Reynolds had arrived with backup from the FBI. The masked men outside were detained instantly. Tom and Lena froze, eyes wide. "Federal agents," Jim said, stepping into the room. "You're both under arrest for money laundering, conspiracy, and endangering a minor." Tom tried to run, but was tackled. Lena screamed, but a second agent restrained her. Ethan buried his face in my chest. I felt a mix of relief and fury. My nephew was safe. Tom and Lena were finally caught. The the manipulation, the lies, justice was being served. The next morning, Ethan and I sat on the porch of a safe house in Overland Park. Sunlight streamed over the city. "Ethan," I said gently, "you're free now, and I'm proud of how you faced all of this." He smiled weakly. "Thanks, Uncle, for not giving up on me." I ruffled his hair. "Never. Family isn't just about blood, it's about protecting each other even from the people who should love you most." And as the news broke that morning that Tom and Lena arrested, their empire dismantled, I realized something. Sometimes the deepest betrayal comes from within the family. But with courage, loyalty, and truth, even the darkest secrets could be brought to light. Ethan leaned against me, finally calm. And for the first time in days, I allowed myself to breathe. Justice had been served, and our family, though scarred, could begin to heal.